Got13 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we started our investigation into our upcoming trial, and, well, now let's start the trial. October 18th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 4. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. First, I would like to call a familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. that day. Past the security station there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there are only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. Production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? Skip it. I think I could probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name?
My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered.
Your name, please.
Oh dear, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma.
Your name, please. Poor Edgeworth. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names.
What the old bag, dearie?
What a nice name, Old Bag.
So just call me.
No, I'm not saying all that. No. I hate how this woman just rambles on. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Poor Edgeworth. I feel bad for him. Objections sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand.
I was just getting to the good part, dearie.
Perhaps we can get to the testimony? Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct?
Yes, see, I was.
And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you.
You know your stuff, dearie.
You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. Witness's account.
On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed towards the studio.
You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Alright, there's one thing I do want to press. I doubt it's going to get me far, because I really don't remember much about this case. Of course the text won't let me skip on this, because I haven't played this case before on the computer. Let me press this. So you saw Mr. Powers.
That's what I said. Go wax in your ears, Sonny.
Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon.
I'll say it again. It was him.
Alright. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in the photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw?
Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right?
Yeah. Well, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean that Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. Ew.
I know that. I wasn't born yesterday.
No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss, witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you?
Humph, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What?
Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time.
How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look.
Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. I think the good detective's getting another salary cut. The man in the photo.
I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at this. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy?
So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. I think I know what to press her on. Let's see. Let's press her on this. He broke a prop? Sure did.
Sure did. His own samurai spear.
His samurai spear? The murder weapon?
Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it.
This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court record.
Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad.
Hold it! Oh, whoops. You know, I thought that would work. There's this voice recognition thing. Here, let me show you. See, look. If I hold Y... apparently it's not working. Oh, well. Let me press this. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained?
Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch.
Thus the nap.
Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked.
Dragging his foot. Okay. Are you absolutely sure? Let's take a look at that picture again. So he was walking strangely because he was injured. It does look like he was dragging his foot.
See? And you didn't trust me, whippersnapper.
Who was present at the run-through?
Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate.
And
Me.
And what exactly were you doing?
Observing. Just observing.
What about the assistant?
Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such.
So she didn't see the run-through then. Let's press on this. Trip and fall?
Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course.
You helped make it better?
I kissed it where it hurt.
Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Okay then, where was the assistant then?
Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about about Powers' ankle.
You may continue your testimony. Huh. I think we've heard enough, haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me, which is, where's this Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
No need to ask twice.
Witness's account continued.
The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them.
Oh, really? So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Oh, I know the flaw in this one. If you remember from last part. No one else went there, huh? Well, let's look at the... Let's look at the description of Powers... Oh, whoops, wrong thing. Let's look at the description of Powers' photo. He's dragging one leg. Check them. October 5th, 2 p.m. Photo number 2. So I think that's obviously the contradiction here. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct?
Yes, sirree, sonny.
So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture.
And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground.
Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all the security cam data.
Ooh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening.
That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of this photo are printed the words October 15th, 2 p.m. Photo number 2.
Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 5th. Really, sonny.
Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2.
Photo number 2?
The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this be photo be number 1 if it was the only photo? Oh, I botched up that one. Order, order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows not one, but two people went to the studio that day. Yet there's only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself.
Eh? You watch your mouth, whippersnapper.
The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice, so that means two people went by.
Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help.
Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper, too. Whippersnapper?
Something the matter, Miss Oldbag?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai.
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way.
I see. Your testimony, please. The other person.
Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security camera and computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it.
Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination.
Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this.
Oh, Maya. Let's see. Let's press her on this one. Well, who in the heck was in the photo you erased?
A fanboy.
Fanboy?
Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day.
Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain?
I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers.
Kids? So, on the photo that you erased...
It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade.
What? Order. Let me get this straight. You saw two people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh yes, well we see his type out there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade? I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy.
Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data.
Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Well, that happened. October 18th, 11:08 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 3. Mr. WP? Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest.
So who is the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really.
What? You should take better care of your staff.
I couldn't imagine anyone in a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick!
What are we going to do? First we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this.
Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day.
Right. But if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Willpowers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thought on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed the crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant Willpowers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? Well... Okay. I really don't remember who it is that could have done it. The assistant was distributed. I don't want to F this up, even though I do have multiple chances. I'm going to, oh, whoops, wrong thing. I'm actually going to save state. No, wrong thing again. Damn it, me. I'm going to save state here. Oh, how do I? Okay, F1. I want to try saying it's the security lady? It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Whoa! This is probably so wrong. The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. Oh, I guess I did pick right.
What? Whippersnapper!
Order, order. Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you. Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1 at the scene of the murder. Well, why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in this costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right there. Sherlock Holmes too, baby. Huh? That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? Prosecution has no meaningful objections at the time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so y'all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there. Do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way? You know what? I'm gonna press further. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy's not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it to be nice to kids and mean to your elders day?
Oh, whoops.
Or is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders day, whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed. Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof to show the boy could not committed the murder. It's fairly obvious. In case you can't guess, the samurai spear. Your Honor, the murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. The court is adjourned. Yes.
Wait a second. I'm not going to just sit in here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me? I'm talking.
Everyone's face.
Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. My lips were sealed.
Global Studios want me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? They told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Alright. I think here we just have to press everything. So, you were told not to talk.
That's right, by the studio TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it.
There were
some other...
Oh, whoops, I'm not reading that. Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
So, where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a Studio 2?
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but I'll continue. Miss Oldbag, this isn't a trial. This is a trial for murder.
I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So you got your bonus and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. I guess I'm good now. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. Prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. Edgeworth looks pissed off. I understand, Your Honor. This ends today's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. The court is adjourned. October 18th, 1:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Aw, really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I?
We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigation. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag?
What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit, take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor old Windbag. I feel kind of sorry for her.
Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, or with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios.
Right. We'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. To be continued. Alright. There goes this rather, odd trial. Anyway, next time we'll be investigating more, well, the Global Studios more, and finding out more about this director and producer, and exactly what they had to do with the murder. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.